acting is reacting. This does not mean acting again.
Hey, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Today, you've made it just in time for a 40-year flashback as we celebrate, or if that's not quite the right word for you, how about commemorate the 40th anniversary of Chicago's biggest ever album, Chicago 17. It's a random foreplay, so I'm just going to pop it on shuffle and we'll listen to the first 4 songs that come up. We'll have some chat and discussion about it as we go along, but right now we're going to dive into the first song, which will be this one. Okay, now some people think this is a ballad-heavy album because it has 2 huge ballads on it that were big hits. But this is the only other song on the album that's a ballad. This is Remember the Feeling, written by Peter Cetera on vocals, of course, with Bill Champlin.
Shadows were hiding what I couldn't see. Out in the dark she was calling to me with the voice I never forget. She was a vision I couldn't believe. I held her close so that she wouldn't leave. Suddenly helpless, hopelessly falling in love. I remember the feeling. I remember the way she came up and wrapped her arms around me. Told me that she cared, said she'd always be there, taking me places I've never been. She had the beauty that comes from within.
She had the beauty that comes from within. She a bit of a dog, really.
Was it too good to be true? I was a man all alone in the night. She came along and she showed me the light. I was confused and she told me the way. I was alone and I begged her to stay. She was alive, I was caught by the fire. She brought emotions that filled my desire. I should have noticed that something was wrong. When I awoke, she was gone. I remember the feeling. I remember the way she came up and wrapped her arms around me. Told me that she
Ooh,
cared,
a little bit of guitar.
said she'd always be there.
Does exist.
She was alive, I was caught by the fire. She brought emotions that filled my desire. I should have noticed that something was wrong. When I awoke, I could see that she was gone.
Okay, that was Remember the Feeling, kicking off our Chicago 17 random foreplay. Of course, on the original vinyl, that closed out side one. Look, yes, it's pure cheese, as is 98% of what is on this album, but cheese is good. And for those of you who have only heard the big hits, and you might be in the category of people who never need to hear Hard Habit to Break or You're the Inspiration ever again, I get that. I can't promise you won't hear that today. I don't know what's going to come. Anything is possible, okay? But that's the other ballad on the album, and it could have been just as big a hit as those two had it been released as a single. But maybe, or maybe not being over familiar with it, does it sound better, different to your ears? I'm interested to know. I'm interested to know what you think about anything that comes up to do with this album. But before we go on, a bit of background about it. It is Chicago 17, but that doesn't mean it's their 17th album. Oh no, because they counted greatest hits and live albums. So it's their 14th studio album, released in May 1984. So hence the 40-year flashbacks this month. And their second of three produced by David Foster, but also, of course, famously the final album that they released with Peter Cetera on lead vocals on just about every song, not quite, but just about every song, and bass on checks, notes, one song. But that voice, if you've been on this channel before, you know vocals make or break just about anything for me. I've never quite been a believer of the whole he could sing the phone book and it would sound fine kind of thing. Try explaining that to a young person. Phone book was great for what it was, but it was lyrically unsatisfying, and I don't necessarily need Dylan-esque lyrics on every song, but something with a bit of meaning is good. Also, it wasn't just the big ballads that were hits from this album. We have two other top 20 hits in the form of Stay the Night and Along Comes a Woman, which are much more up-tempo. We wouldn't exactly call them rock. Maybe Stay the Night crosses into that a little bit, but we're in strict pop/pop rock territory for the bulk of this album. And like I say, you either love it or you hate it. For some people, this was peak Chicago. It is what got them into the band, and they went back to the early stuff and went, oh, what's this? Whereas people who started with the band from the beginning, all those amazing Terry Kath albums, and get into the 80s and they're like, sell out! Death to Peter Cetera! Both valid. I'm in neither of those camps. I became a fan of Chicago in the late 80s, and I kind of heard all of the music at once. Mostly the hits and then some of the albums from various eras. And so to me, it was like sometimes I do that, sometimes I do this, and I kind of liked it all. But what I'm saying is I can understand why people love or hate certain eras of Chicago. Anyway, we can dive into our second random track. Well, here we go. This is the final single from the album, Along Comes a Woman, made number 14 in the US and a whopping number 96 in the UK. The last single of the Peter Cetera era, as it turned out. And this is one of two tracks co-written with Mark Goldenberg, with Peter, of course. Oh, there was a burst of horns. This was the opening track of side 2, and when it was released as a single, they did a remix on it to make it even funkier and bouncier. So this is just the original album version. See, this isn't too embarrassing, is it? Good mainstream 80s pop rock. Alright, fading out. We'll let this play straight through and we'll go right into track 3 of our random 4. What will it be? I can't tell you, but very soon I will be able to tell you because we'll be hearing it. Oh, I do apologise for those who've heard this 9 gazillion times in their lives already, but this is Hard Habit to Break, the only song on the album not co-written by a member of the band. Steve Kipner and another bloke co-wrote it. Of course, this single won loads of awards at the Grammys the following year. And this is Bill Champlin singing with Peter on this one. The walls of backing vocals on there. It's glorious, really. It is. And Hornbreak and the Chicago's single from the 80s. You've got to treasure these things. They don't come along often. Or for long. Sorry, still recovering from the cold. To you, baby. You can't say they're not giving this everything, especially in the vocal department. Alrighty, so we still have one last song to come up for our random foreplay, but before we find out what that is, hard habit to break, everybody. I know it's ubiquitous, always on the radio, everywhere, even here. This track, of course, reached number 3 in the US, but also reached number 8 in the UK, which is pretty huge by Chicago standards over here. The album itself made number 24. Oh, albums that made number 24. Joe's having an idea. Yeah, of course, the album made number 4 in the US, and have I mentioned already, was certified 6 times platinum, so 6 million sales, making it their biggest seller by a fair bit. And I said that was co-written by Steve Kipner along with John Lewis Parker, and the only song on this album that was from outside writers. A couple of albums only got Chicago 19, which is almost all written by outside writers. So you appreciate the small things that you have while you still got them, like band members with writing credits. Yeah, I can understand those who have heard the song way too many times, fair enough, but personally I don't listen to the radio at all, so I only hear it pretty much when I listen to the album, and it suits me just fine. But I've always liked that one. It is as perfect a power ballad as a power ballad can be, if you like the odd power ballad from time to time, and I do, because I'm a big soppy kid. What can I say? So there's 7 songs left on the album, but we're only going to hear one of them. Though I will do what we could have won afterwards to see what the next 4 tracks would have been if we hadn't heard the 4 tracks that we are hearing, have heard, will hear. I'm hoping we get another deeper cut. Maybe even one featuring a bit of Robert Lamb on vocals, which doesn't give us many options in this period, but we shall see. The one I least like to come up, is it You're the Inspiration? Well, we've had enough ballads, so in some ways it is. But really my least favourite track on this album is Please Hold On, so I'd like to miss that one if we can. But will we? Track 4, final track on our random foreplay, will be well, the music gods have decided it's ballad day today. This is As If You Need to Be Told, You're the Inspiration.
You know our love was meant to be the kind of love to last forever, and I want you here with me from tonight until the end of time. You should know everywhere I go, always on my mind, in my heart,
This was number 3 as well
my soul.
in the US,
You're the me,
number 14 in the UK.
you're the inspiration. You bring feeling to my life. You're the inspiration. Wanna have you near me? I wanna have you hear me say it. No one needs you more than I need you.
Well, story goes, this was originally written for Kenny Rogers, who ultimately didn't go for it.
Yes, I know that it's plain to see.
Peter said he should have done.
So in love with
That was probably in retrospect.
now I know that I need you here with me from tonight until the end of time. You should know everywhere
Again, this is not. It is just pop, but it's not just pop. It's really well written and well constructed. A whole bunch of key changes going on, but really subtly, so you don't necessarily notice. It's Carlos Vega on the drums here, other than Danny Serafin, who just couldn't get it together in the studio for this track, much to his embarrassment. Here's detail then. Street Player, My Chicago Story. Worth a read. Alrighty, we're coming up to the end of our 4 songs, but as I said, we will play the first 10 seconds of the next song is what we could have won. It'll be different from this. Now this is a song other people detest, but I love. It's probably my favourite on the album. It's Only You. But that's all we got time to hear from it. But if we had started with Only You, we would have followed that with Stay the Night, the other big single from this album, Once in a Lifetime, and Prima Donna. I think all told, that set of 4 would have been a more varied set of 4 than what we heard. But hey, as I said, I like a good soppy ballad, and hopefully you do too, because, well, we got 3 of them. All right, there we have it. That was our random foreplay for Chicago 17. Starting off with a nice soppy ballad with Remembered Feeling, kicking it up to a bit of a funky up-tempo number with Along Comes a Woman, and then back down to smash ballad territory for Hard Habit to Break, and finally You're the Inspiration. These are the songs that define Chicago, even to this day, for better or for worse. Probably for worse, when you consider that they could be defined by 25 or 64 or Beginnings or any of those other great early songs, or the deeper cuts even than that. Introduction, South California Purples. Okay, that's where the stuff's at, really. But, as I said, as far as 1984 adult contemporary pop rock goes, this is about as good as you get. So, works for me. It's not what I automatically turn to when I think of Chicago, but I still play this album fairly regularly, to be honest. For me, it's head and shoulders above everything else they did in this ilk. Just the production and the songs are there in a way that they aren't necessarily on the later ones. Yeah, just talking briefly, going back to Hard Habit to Break, the multi-vocals between Peter and Bill Champlin. It's kind of a shame that those two weren't in the band together for longer, because they co-wrote Remember the Feeling together, and that's, I think, the only co-write they had in the brief time that they were in the band together. And then that song was the big single with them both featured. Of course, later on, Bill Champlin would sing lead on their last batch of hits, I Don't Want to Live Without Your Love and Look Away, that kind of thing. Whereas Peter would go on, of course, to have his solo hits at the same time. And that's kind of why they decided that they'd put singles out by Bill Champlin rather than have Peter's replacement, Jason, singing similar sounding songs and them all battling for radio play at the same time. There was a logic to it. Mainly the logic was, let's put out this pack and make money. Yeah, I don't like those later songs nearly as much. As I say, that's when they get into really overdosing on the outside songwriting side of things. Anyway, that is it for today, but you may or may not know that I have done a random foreplay of a much earlier Chicago album, Chicago 7, which a couple of months ago had its 50th anniversary. And if you want to find out what I thought of the 4 songs that came up there, or indeed what they even were, you can go there about now. And if you'd just like to watch something else that YouTube thinks you'd really like from this channel, try that one. Either way, I hope to see you on one or other or both of those, or another video altogether sometime very soon. Bye for now.